There's this natural rhythm to things. When an industry changes, education eventually catches up. And when education shifts, it completely redefines a generation's dreams. But today, we're facing a massive disconnect between the two, and it's shaping our entire future. This quote right here, it just perfectly captures one of the most serious structural problems of our time. The gap between how fast industry is transforming and how fast we're learning, well, it's getting wider every single day.
So, that leaves us with a really tough question. What happens to the people who get caught in that gap? This isn't just some academic thought experiment. For a nation like South Korea, it is quite literally a question of survival.
To really get why this is so critical, we need to zoom out and look at the global picture. Right now, we are smack in the middle of a super intense AI arms race, and South Korea is finding itself in a uniquely dangerous spot.
See, the two global superpowers are tackling AI from completely different angles. In the US, it's all driven by massive private tech companies. Meanwhile, China is taking a top-down, state-controlled approach. But China's strategy, just pouring unbelievable amounts of money into training millions of AI specialists, has this huge fundamental paradox. AI isn't a labor-intensive industry. Its whole point is to replace human labor.
So while China might be creating a whole generation of AI majors who lose their jobs to AI, South Korea has the complete opposite problem. The government is all focused on training more and more talent, but the real crisis is that its best and brightest are leaving. The issue isn't that they don't have enough skilled people, it's that they have no system in place to make them stay.
So why are they leaving? What's going on? Well, the root of it all lies in this really deeply flawed industrial structure that we can call the sandglass trap.
Okay, just picture a sandglass for a second. At the very top, that narrow part, you've got a handful of giant corporations, think Samsung, Naver, that can actually do cutting-edge AI development. Then, way down at the wide bottom, you have thousands of little companies that only use AI apps that are already built. But that critical middle layer, the dynamic space with startups, research labs, and mid-sized companies where talent can actually experiment and grow, it's almost totally empty. So with no ladder to climb, the top talent really only has one option: get out. And this structural failure leads to a frankly terrifying social risk. If you just keep churning out specialists with nowhere for them to go, you create what some people have started calling a knowledge proletariat. These are highly educated people whose very specialized skills suddenly become worthless, and they can easily become a major source of social instability. This is the huge danger of focusing only on training without building the ecosystem to support it. What makes it all worse is this culture of brutal competition instead of collaboration. Every company is just fighting for itself, and the government, instead of acting like a strategic coordinator, building the roads for a real ecosystem, is basically just a budget dispenser. So the result isn't a healthy AI industry, it's what you could call an AI budget-grabbing game. Okay, so pointing out the problem is only half the job. What's the path forward? Well, it starts with a really fundamental shift in how we think about this, and it's centered around one powerful idea: AI sovereignty.
This is the one question that cuts through all the noise. When a nation completely relies on AI controlled by foreign big tech, whose data is that AI learning from? What kind of biases are baked into its decisions? And maybe most importantly, who controls its memory? This isn't just an economic question anymore. It's a core issue of national security and independence. The answer is sovereign AI. This basically means developing a nation's own AI capabilities from the ground up. It's all about making sure that the digital brain that's shaping your society is one you actually understand and control. This isn't about being isolated, it's about making sure you have a seat at the global table.
So, how do you actually build this? It's going to take a comprehensive design, a real blueprint for a brand new ecosystem where the state, corporations, and individuals can all thrive together. This whole strategy really rests on four interconnected pillars. First, the state has to build the new national infrastructure. Second, the ecosystem needs to be completely redesigned to actually keep talent. Third, education has to be reformed to build agile minds. And fourth, diplomacy has to forge brand new strategic alliances.
For that first pillar, just look back at recent history. In the late 1990s, South Korea made a massive national investment in high-speed internet. That one decision laid the foundation for its world-leading IT industry. Today, the new essential infrastructure is a national GPU cloud, a kind of public utility for computing power that can fuel innovation for everybody, not just the corporate giants.
Second, let's talk about retaining talent.
Top researchers and engineers don't leave just for a bigger paycheck. They leave because they're looking for a challenging environment, a place where they can tackle really meaningful problems and actually grow. Rebuilding that hollowed-out middle of the sandglass with real research opportunities is the only sustainable way to keep the best minds at home.
Third, education. The goal can't just be about teaching specific technical skills like Python anymore, because those skills are going to become obsolete. Instead, we have to cultivate something called mind agility, the core abilities in logic, ethics, and creative problem-solving that AI cannot replicate. That's how you create a generation that can steer AI, not be replaced by it.
And finally, diplomacy. Let's be real. South Korea can't compete with the US or China on pure scale, so it has to be smarter. By forming a third-axis alliance with partners like Europe, which is great at ethics and regulation, India with its massive talent pool, and East Asian neighbors with hardware strengths, it can build an open, sovereign AI bloc, a really powerful alternative to the two dominant powers.
All of this brings us to a final, and I think really profound realization. The challenge that's ahead of us isn't just about technology. It's about how we design our society itself.
This, right here, is the ultimate takeaway. The goal isn't just to have the most powerful AI. It's to build a social structure, an educational system, and a national philosophy that are robust, equitable, and just plain wise enough to handle the incredible power that AI is about to unleash. Look, this is a monumental task, there's no doubt about it. But South Korea has faced moments just like this before. When the state provides the vision and the infrastructure, when companies actually collaborate to build the ecosystem, and when individuals are empowered with the right skills to walk that path, that is when a nation doesn't just survive the future, it defines it.